Okay, just watched Top Gun last night and wow, what a great movie. I think I heard a lot of people saying it was really great. Actually, my sister-in-law snuck off and saw it before me and my wife and our friends. She's actually Chinese, completely Chinese, not American, nothing to do with Western culture, and she said you have to see this movie. It's actually a kind of movie that can transcend over nationalities, and despite being a very American style movie, a very classic movie if you think about it. Best way to sum this up, I would say it's very much a 1980s movie in 2022, which is very rare. The last time I kind of felt about this way is back when I was watching Ford versus Ferrari, where it felt like the old classic formula in which you make a movie. So I really like that. And more organic, less CGI and less of that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's go through the movie. I don't think I'm going to do spoilers, but just go in general. I'll talk about, I guess, things in the trailer. But, it's like the first quarter of the movie just felt like kind of like nostalgic montage about it. It really gets you hyped up. The original music, this little clips of the fighter jet. It's really, I guess the fighter jets are just like a machine that really stirs emotion from human beings. It's so cool. The whole action of it is so cool, and the music just pumps you up. Right from the get-go, you're so pumped up from the movie, and then it just feels like a bunch of certain things are happening, and it's just all playing towards your nostalgic heartstrings. And then you get into the character. This movie is mainly, if you think about it, it's about Maverick and as being in sort of aging pilot, and where's his place in the world. So he's just still doing being a test pilot, and that's kind of his scene where he's still that same character of pushing the limit and not really kind of following the rules and a little bit of wild. And so that's his character is still that. The kind of storyline that they have is very classic, where you just have a bad guy base where you need to blow up. It could have been anything. It could be the Death Star, North Korea, Iran. It doesn't really matter. It's sort of just this string that kind of keeps everything going along. It didn't really matter. In terms of the cast, I think the casting is pretty good. I didn't have high expectation for the new Top Gun, the new younger generation. If you think about the original, it's so perfect, the casting. I don't think they can ever recreate the whole Maverick, Goose, Iceman, the whole chemistry between them, which was great. So I didn't have high expectations, but I think that they did a good job. Miles Teller did a good job. They surpassed. I just didn't have high expectations, but they surpassed my expectation. Pretty good. I felt connected, or at least I felt empathetic or connected to the characters in terms of the stakes, where I feel like you care about what the outcome of these kids are. So that's good. Okay, and Tom Cruise, famous for his very authentic, very real. And I think that's always inside the back of your mind. I know they can do CGI to do it, but he refused to do the CGI. And when you watch the scenes in the cockpit and outside, and you look and you just think, wow, this is actually really happening, and it looks super dangerous and it requires high skill level. You think about, wow, these kind of pilots exist, which is crazy. I wanted to go talk about, actually, my niece is a Girl Scout, and they actually had a graduation just a couple of weeks ago, and they actually had a guest speaker, a female Navy pilot who came in, who was a Girl Scout when she was younger, and talking about her life. And she actually admitted that she saw a sneak early screening of Top Gun, and then she said, and I quote, she goes, "I dare you to not want to be a pilot." And that's what she said after her speech. And I would say that I felt exactly the opposite, because this movie does such a great job in showcasing the realism of being a fighter pilot, I think, more than anything, and how they're sort of on the edge, and at any moment something can go wrong, seriously wrong. And I got that feeling multiple times, and I think that was really great. And so I didn't feel at all that I wanted to be a firefighter. I felt exact opposite. I said, these people are incredible. I don't have the right stuff. So really great work on that to communicate that kind of realism to the audience. In terms of the love interest, I think that Jennifer Connelly and Maverick have a good chemistry. I think they're kind of tasteful in which, they're both older characters, older actors, and I don't think people want to see some kind of lustful love scene, much like the first one. The first one is very iconic with that "Take My Breath Away" and that kind of thing, and that's almost not children friendly. But I would say this movie, actually, you could bring children. It's that friendly. And so they're very tasteful in it. It's like not, you know, lustful or anything with that. And it's actually quite playful and like kind of youthful in their interaction. And so that's kind of nice. And also the love scene between Maverick and Iceman was nuts. It's like the whole spoiler alert, you know, the Iceman admitting to Maverick, you'll always be my wingman, and then he comes in to embrace for a kiss. That was crazy. I didn't even expect that. Just kidding. Or am I? Am I kidding? You'll have to watch the movie to find out. But there was like some very heartfelt or very intense scene between Iceman and Val Kilmer. He's in real life, he has real health problems. They nicely integrate that into the character, and so there is some very scenes that will try to make you cry. I really fought off, and I can hear other people crying. So this movie will make you laugh. People are laughing during the whole movie. People are clapping, and people were crying. It's like they went through they got all the emotions. They did a really great job about that. And I think one of the good things they did as well is whenever they went kind of heavy on things, it's kind of like when you have like a really great steak or beef, and then you just you shouldn't like put A1 steak sauce on it. You just need to lightly season it to get the taste. I felt like they lightly seasoned some kind of like joke. They went to a heavy scene and then they lightened the mood, so you kind of had that push-pull feeling. They did a really great job with it, so good job on that. Really great screenplay. So I mean, it's like nothing that is like Oscar winning a performance. I mean, despite Tom Cruise did a super job emotionally with this movie to get this character, but yeah, it's like it's quite simple, but they did it so well. Like I said before, this is a kind of Ford versus Ferrari type of movie. Feel like old classic formula. So if you like that kind of movie, if you definitely like Top Gun, you'll love this movie. If you haven't seen Top Gun 1, you still can like this movie a lot, because I know my sister-in-law hasn't even seen Top Gun 1. She came out and said, you have to see this, because it's more of like a human story if you think about it. I think, you know, of course you have like the American iconic stuff, you see a lot of American flags, but it's not just a movie for Americans, in my opinion. So anyways, I would think thumbs up for this movie. Is it worth your hard-earned cash? Yes, for sure. It's a bit of escapism that I totally like, where when I say it's a 1980s movie, it's like at some point I'm just like, this is not gonna happen, or this is like, this wouldn't happen in real life maybe, and then, but it's like I want it to happen. So I think Tom Cruise is famous for knowing, he would always ask this question, like, what does the audience want? And this kind of thing, he always asks for every different scene. I think this is what he famously say. And I feel like he understands the audience, and like he just gives you whatever you want to happen, he gives it to you, so you're happy, you get the full emotion range from sad to happy and everything like that, and then you're just like so happy at the end of the movie, and you're thinking, oh, I love this movie so much. It's kind of like a perfect cake, where like it's simple but perfect. There's no lectures. I feel like, you know, when I say Tom Cruise gives what the audience want, I have a feeling like in this kind of day and age, and I feel like I'm not the only one complaining about it. It's like you feel like that you have studios trying to lecture the audience with like messages and stuff like that, and it's like, I don't want to be lectured. I want to escape this world for like 2 hours. So this is like that escape. It gives you that escape where you just end up feeling so good. You feel so good about the world. So that, you know, I think Tom Cruise is better than like today's modern studios, and he understands what the audience wants and he gives it. He's not trying to lecture the audience about things. And then, like I'm using an analogy about cake, you have these other movies, maybe I'll say like Fast and Furious, where you feel like they're just going over the top now. It's kind of like they figure that, oh, sugar makes cake taste good, so what if we just put in more sugar and put more sugar? It's like that CGI and the over the top like storyline that's too crazy, and you're just like, this is like, I'm eating a bag of sugar and this shit sucks now. You know, this franchise sucks. So this is like the kind of like perfectly balanced. That's a balanced feeling of a nice simple cake. It's how I feel about this movie. So definitely worth my money, and more specifically, more important, it's worth my time. We never get our time back, and I think when people like watch a movie, it's like, you know, you don't like think, oh, I lost like my $10 or $20 on this movie. You think like, oh, that was a waste of time, and like, because time you can't get back. But this is definitely worth your time to see at least once. I think this is actually a movie you can see multiple times. Anyway, great movie. Well done, Tom Cruise. You will be a legend. I can't believe they're actually were able to make a good sequel for this Top Gun. Well worth the wait, decades wait. So anyway, that's a review for this Top Gun Maverick. So if you like this review or anything, you can like, share, and subscribe, of course.